That's the voice of my next guest in the program today. That's the latest single from the Heartache State, fronted by Nick Barker. It's called Honey Slide. We'll find out about that and why it's called Honey Slide in just a moment's time. You'll remember Nick Barker, of course, from The Reptiles, a blues rock band of the 80s and 90s. To tell us more about that and his music journey, he's on the line right now. Nick, nice to have you on the program today.
Yeah, thanks, Lee.
You're a local man, aren't you, down this neck of the woods?
I am indeed, yeah. I grew up in the southeast suburbs. Actually, I'm living over in the west now. So,
are you in the west, are you now? Okay.
Yeah, I've been a runner. I got priced out of the southeast, to be honest.
Oh, you're right, it's getting very expensive down here.
Incredible.
Mm.
Yeah, incredible.
How the kids are going to afford a house as they grow up, the teenagers of today, I just don't know.
Well, they're not. They're going to have to get like they do in Europe, I think, like 10-year leases, and we'll have to be, as parents, we'll have to be getting them out of the house with a hose, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're very, very right. But it's going to be a different ball game. So did you buy out that neck of the woods yourself in the west?
No, we didn't. No, I mean, we missed the boat a little bit there, but I did have a house in the southeast, but life happened to that. So, but I like living in the west, though. It's not somewhere I've ever thought about living before. But apart from living quite near to the Whitten Oval and being a Swan supporter, that's the only drawback.
I think you might be right.
About a year ago.
Yes.
You can well imagine what it would have been.
Oh yeah, it'd be bedlam. Absolute bedlam. Yeah, all the lights just went out. Yeah, total bedlam, eh? Nick, you've done a lot of things in your life. You've had a fantastic career. It's still continuing, of course. You had the band I mentioned earlier there about the Reptiles, yes. And you disbanded that, though, didn't you?
Yeah, Reptiles didn't actually go for that long. It was only really probably 3 years. We made 2 albums and an EP, and it just, the band kind of got ground into the dust a little bit. I mean, we were playing 5 nights a week, and there was no Tiger Railway, so we were driving everywhere.
Yeah.
So it really ground on us. And,
it's a tough life, isn't it?
We were pretty big drinkers too, and that didn't help. So, look, it was great while it lasted, but it sort of, and then I think things changed a lot around that sort of early 91 time too, like, when Nirvana came in, and I don't know, everything just shifted really dramatically, and the Reptiles kind of, just our sort of, what we were doing, I think probably just didn't seem a little jaded, and I was a little bit sick of it. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but, that music, it can be like that, people don't really understand the sort of the actual, stuck in a car with so many people, with a bunch of guys, you can get pretty claustrophobic. So, but it was good while it lasted. But
you went solo after that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was lucky. I had went away for a while, and then I came back and did a solo album which had a song called Time Bomb on it.
That was the Backwater Blues, was it?
No, this one was called Happy Man. It was my
okay.
First,
yep.
Yeah, it was my first solo album.
Right.
It did really, really well. It got, Time Bomb did really well on that year's Hottest 100 on Triple J. And the album sold really well. So I actually landed on my feet pretty well. But music's up and down. It just depends. It's, 1 year can be really good, and the next year it's just something else has come along, and it's odd, But when you sort of sit back and look at it as a career, it's just ebbs and flows. Some years you're having a really good year, and some years you're not. So, but it all evens out. So
now, I was reading about you.
Hang in there.
You do, don't you? You do. That's what you know and what you do. I was reading that you wanted to get away from your own name, and hence the name that you came up with, Heartache State. How did that come around?
Well, I've been playing with Justin, who's the other half of the band, really. He's the other songwriter, and we've been playing together for a long time, and I always had a lot of respect for him. And we just played really well together. I mean, people think it's easy to put a guitar band together, but it's not. It takes 2 very like-minded players, because
well, your sound's got a gel, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and we've sort of very much got that model of, I'm the left speaker and he's the right speaker, which is a pretty old 70s type of model.
But it works.
It works really well. But it has taken us some time to do it, and it just became more and more obvious when he played on my stuff that we were really kind of a great match. So, and I just really wanted to do a band again, and I wanted to do something that wasn't just sort of basically trading off my name from days past, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I do, yes.
So we just kept writing, and it just got better and better. So
where'd the name come from? Where'd the name Heartache?
There's a band I really liked that had an EP called Texas State Heartache or Lone Star State Heartache, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just really liked it. It sort of sounds like a number plate. You see the number plates everywhere, you know, the Garden State,
exactly.
This state, and that state.
The Heartache State.
And, you know, most songs are about breaking up and heartache, aren't they, really? Most rock and roll songs. So it was just right off the tongue. And
you could probably have a number plate made from that now, because we're in diabolical trouble in this country, aren't we? The heartache country.
Exactly. In another couple of years, it'll be very relevant, I'd say.
I think so. Yeah, most certainly. Now, you're one of the writers. Were you the writer, or was it did you collaborate with someone on the Honey Slide?
Oh, I wrote that one.
You wrote that yourself?
Yeah.
Not a bad song, mate. Not a bad song at all.
I reckon it's got a bit of spirit.
It has. It has.
It was one of the first ones we recorded for the album. Good thing about the record was that we did it without any rehearsal. Like I'd always wanted to do that. As I said,
what was a one take? Was it
approach.
A one take?
Well, a couple.
Yeah.
We went in there with the ideas, but we hadn't really got together as a band.
Right.
We just sort of jammed them up in the studio on the day, which is as I said, it's a 70s style recording. I mean, the Stones used to record like that at Faces. You read a lot of those books. They just sort of get in there and kind of mess around with stuff and see what happened. And we had the luxury of being able to do that this time. We didn't have to. I just think some things you're much better off doing it that way if you're able to. Look, and it's not very complicated music, so we know each other, and it was our second album, and we'd always wanted to do it, so we just did it. And it came out really well. So the versions of the songs that you're hearing are only the second or third time they've ever been played.
Gee, that's good, isn't it?
I think so. I think it really kind of sorts the songs out too, because some songs just record better than others. Sometimes you can get too attached to a song and try and make it work when it's just not. So it becomes pretty obvious if you're doing it in that format.
This has got a really good sound to it. As you say, it's that sort of rock sound, perhaps the 70s or something, as you were saying. And I think you're totally right.
All 70s gear.
That's right.
All 70s Marshalls.
Yeah.
And
got that sound.
Telecasters and Les Pauls.
But they were the good old days, and the equipment was good. It's
very basic. You know, there's not really many pedals or anything. It's just valve gear and old guitars and old compressors and old mics with Pro Tools.
But Nick, that shows the artistry that you guys have got. You don't have to rely on all these whiz-bang gizmo things now. You're going back to the basics, and it's worked.
Well, that's what we wanted to do. That's the sort of music that we like, and it speaks. This type of music speaks best like that. You can't kind of part it up too much.
No.
So there's an overdub here, an overdub there, but really, for the most part, it's just pretty much what we put down, which can go either way. And I didn't want it to sound like a live record, like just that we were just being silly about it. But it's got as I said, it's got a bit of spirit. And the Yikesville studios where we recorded have a strict no fade policy, so some of the songs kind of do prattle on a bit at the end before they finish. That's only because we didn't really quite sure where we were going to end them. So.
Well, it sounds pretty darn good. And now the album's called Last of the Buffalo.
Yes.
Okay, and it's the single off Last of the Buffalo, Honey Slide. How can we access the album or the single?
The album, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes. You
right.
can get it JB Hi-Fi, you can get it on... I think Sanity has got it too, I think, and also from the Golden Robot Records.
I'm a bit old-fashioned, mate. I like the hard copies. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've tried, but I've always come back to, especially now the vinyl's had a resurgence.
Oh, yes.
It's been really good, so hopefully going to release it on vinyl.
That of views. Oh, you're going to do it on vinyl. Good on you.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's getting released in Europe, and now in Europe, vinyl's had such a resurgence that you have to kind of release stuff on there. So we'll release it there and import it back because it's cheaper.
I was at JB at the weekend and had a look around JB's vinyl selection there. They've got stacks of vinyl now, and the prices, they're right up there. Goodness, they're dear now.
Yeah, well, it's because they closed down all the pressing plants. I mean, after Festival Records shut, they just kind of pulled apart all these great old pressing plants that they had in Australia. So there's none left because, I mean, I'm old enough to remember. I mean, the Reptiles' first two albums came out on vinyl, CD and cassette.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it was... and the vinyl just sort of got cheaper and cheaper and flimsier and flimsier, and then it finally got phased out. But most of the stuff they're doing now overseas is really good quality. You know, it's thick. It really kind of sits down heavy on the turntable when you put it on. So that's worth doing it if you're going to get that sort of vinyl.
Well, I'm back into vinyl, and I just love the sound. There's something different. There is something different about the sound of vinyl.
There's no doubt. It's a completely different format. It's a lot more compressed. And it just... Yeah, I'm the same. I'm with you. I'd much rather listen to vinyl than... that's why I don't really like CDs much, you know. I find them... I think they're outdated now. I think vinyl and download is a pretty good... I think it's a good way to go.
I think it's a way to go, yeah, most certainly. Yeah. Nick Barker's my guest.
Get the free download.
Yeah, and Nick is there with his new single. It's off the album. The single's called Honey Slide. You can access that, or the album. All about the Buffaloes out there. How'd that title, Buffalo, come up?
After Buffalo, there's a track on there that was written by a friend of mine, Tim Rogers.
Yeah.
We had a band, well, we were going to do a band, I don't know, 15 years ago, called Shithouse, believe it or not. Hopefully I can say that on air.
What do you have?
Yeah, I have, sorry. And it didn't come to fruition, but I found an old CD in my collection when I was going through it, just with that, what I just said, written on it in black text. So I said, what's this? And there was that song, Last of the Buffalo, on it, which was one of the songs that Tim had sort of suggested that he'd written for this project that we were going to do, and I think he'd forgotten about it. I'd certainly forgotten about it. It's a great song, so I like that. I really love that painting, Master of the Buffalo. There's a famous painting. It kind of sums up, I don't know, sums up me a little bit, I suppose.
Friends, have a listen to it. Go and buy it. It's by Nick Barker and the group there, the Heartache States. Good on you, pal. We've got to go to the news, mate, but thank you for your time today, and I wish you well with the sales.
Thanks for your
Okay, you take care, pal.
Mate.
Okay, bye-bye to you.